Coming up next on Bear News, we've got the latest news on the spring concert UPC is hosting.
Later, we have all the details on how to travel all over the world.
Coming up in sports, the athletics department adds a few more distinguished Bears to its Hall of Fame, and a few football players look to keep going at the next level. Find out who coming up.
And snow may be making its return to the weekend's forecast. I'll give you all the details in weather.
We've got all that and more on this episode of Bear News. Stay tuned. Thanks for joining us today on Bear News. I'm Megan Pressler.
And I'm Jamie Arterburn. The anticipation is gone, and UNC students find out earlier than planned who is coming to Greeley for the spring concert. Bear News reporter Samantha Fox has the inside story of how UNC students learned who will be thrift shopping in March.
What?
You hear right. Macklemore and Ryan Lewis are coming to UNC. The information was actually leaked a day earlier than the University Program Council had planned, and UNC's Casey Thomas, who is the A&E coordinator for UPC, explains exactly how the student body found out a little bit early.
Yeah, we had originally had this deal, I guess, with the bandwagon, and we knew that they were going to print yesterday, but they said they wouldn't distribute until Sunday. And unfortunately, they distributed anyway, and so one thing just piled onto another, and then the mirror distributed, and things just kind of got out of hand. But at that point, I mean, the students were excited, and so we were excited that they're excited.
Despite the student body finding early, everybody was super excited when they found out who the artist is.
Only got $20 in my pocket.
I'm Samantha Fox, Bear News.
The leak may not have been what the UPC wanted, but the excitement for Macklemore and Ray Lewis is more than expected. UPC booked Macklemore before many even knew his name, but it was a risk that paid off. We'll go back to Samantha Fox, who talks with Casey Thomas, who is the student responsible for bringing the group to campus.
Macklemore has become one of the hottest names in the rap game. UPC's Casey Thomas says she signed him before many students even knew who he was.
I showed up for my first day in August, and I said, Raya, I would like Macklemore, and she had no idea who it was. She was like, I don't know who that is, I've never heard of that person.
Thomas's insight pays off, and UPC got Macklemore for $27,500 in November. Now it takes at least $75,000 to book the artist. Thomas says she originally heard about Macklemore and Lewis through a friend.
Through a friend, he showed me this song that he had printed earlier called Wings, and it's really cool. It's about like the commodity of Nike, and I thought it was the coolest thing, and so I just started kind of listening to his music, not all the time, but just every time I heard of him or heard a song that I really liked. And so as soon as Thrift Shop came out, and it wasn't even big yet, nobody had heard of it, but I was like, this is the best song ever, and so I just told everyone, and then I saw it on MTV playing around the UC, and I was like, we gotta do this.
So much more than just a pair of shoes. Nah, this is what I am. What I wore, this is the source of my youth. This dream that they sold to you. For $100 and some change, consumption is in the veins, and now I see it's just another pair of shoes.
This is Samantha Fox, Bear News.
Thanks, Samantha. The concert will be in Butler Hancock March 3rd and is currently sold out. The UPC is working on getting more tickets. Stay tuned for Bear News for the latest information on the spring concert.
UNC is celebrating 100 years of graduate schooling this year. The celebration has begun with a website where alumni can go to share their UNC graduate school experiences and also where they are now. This century of scholars website holds a timeline of important events for the school, an archive of graduating class pictures, and a calendar of events to come that will be part of the 100-year celebration. The first class to receive a master's degree from UNC was back in 1913, when the college was called Colorado Teachers College. Today, the number of graduate degrees awarded has risen to over 53,000. The school has gone from having teaching as the only program to over 100 programs of study. There are over 2,000 students enrolled in UNC Graduate School currently. The University of Northern Colorado School of Music is back at it again this year, kicking off the spring semester with a music series at Greeley's Union Colony Civic Center and performance by the University Symphony Orchestra. There are several upcoming shows. Come out and support and enjoy the UNC jazz groups, choirs, bands, and orchestras who perform world-class music. Tickets are $12 for adults and $8 for students and are available at the UNC Performing Arts box office or at the UCCC box office.
So far, it looks like the groundhog was correct in predicting early spring. I sure hope it stays warm. Bear News meteorologist Paul Ford has your first look at weather. Paul?
Yes, Jamie, an early spring indeed. Right now it's about 48 degrees outside with about 51% humidity. The winds aren't really a factor right now as we head into the evening. Now, we're going to talk a little bit about Groundhog's Day right now. There's been 116 forecasts by Puxatawny Phil in Pennsylvania. He's seen his shadow about 100 times, which signifies winter for 6 more weeks, and no shadow for 16 times, which is signifying an early spring. Now, this year, as we alluded to, there was no shadow. Awesome. But the problem is the groundhog isn't necessarily right all the time. Now, if we look in the past 4 years, yeah, he's seen his shadow about 3 out of the past 4 years, but he's wrong most of the time. Take, for example, last year, the temperatures were above average in both February and in March, and he was predicting an later winter, so not quite right there. And coming up in weather, I've got to look around the country. We've got a blizzard heading up into the northeast, and we've got some snow coming here later this week. I'll give you all that in next week's forecast. Back to you guys.
Thanks, Paul. Coming up after the break, we'll show some tricks UNC has up their sleeves.
Stay tuned, we'll be right back.
We're putting on a show. We need $8 for a ticket. March Saturday to Sunday, it's gonna be fun. This is freaking awesome. Walk into the gym like, what up, that's our anchor. I'm just pumped for the concert at 7 o'clock. Tickets on sale, they going like a monster. The people like, dang, what a concert. Rolling into UNC, got my ticket here with me, dressing all up, cause I might be on MTV. Tickets are on the link, sign up for a meet and greet. Probably should have got one. Pick of Macklemore and me. Flash!
Want to have a night filled with music, food, prizes, and fun? Consider going bingo. Bingo games happen each semester and give students an opportunity to learn about drug and alcohol awareness, as well as a chance at winning some cool prizes and UNC gear. The Center for Peer Education teamed up with Student Radio to put on a night that they say is an alternative for students to turn to instead of going out and drinking.
So bingo night is meant to serve as a means of trying to cut down on partying and just give our students a safer, more healthy option for a late night activity on Wednesday nights. We do education during the breaks between bingo games, so we typically play 4 or 5 rounds of bingo. Sometimes we give out sporting event tickets, sometimes we give out concert tickets, sometimes we give out ski passes. UNC Student Radio there, which is awesome, and they play lots of fun music and we just have a good time. It's really fun. This gives students the opportunity to learn about healthy ways to live their life in a fun way.
Study abroad organizations fill the University Center to encourage students to visit other countries and expand their culture. Australia, South Korea, Japan, China, and Taiwan are only a few of the places students can choose to study abroad at. Slogans were advertised to catch the eyes of students and encourage them to ask questions. Students were able to sign up to receive more information to consider the possibility. From one booth to the next, opportunities were waiting for all students. Craig Gordon informs us about the importance of the program.
It's important for them to broaden their horizons. They only get a chance to be in classes on a daily basis and really just learn from the professor, but if they study abroad, they can also learn from the community and the area they decide to go to, and learn about themselves and really build upon their identity and their role.
If you're interested in seeing the world, stop by the Center for International Exchange office located on the second floor of the University Center.
Illusions and comedy make for a great time, and UNC students enjoy Joel Meyers in his comedy show. Bear News reporter Samantha Fox has the tricks and laughs from Saturday's comedy show.
Get a comedic and magical experience with Joel Meyers visiting UNC. Meyers has a very participant-active show, and Katie Steele got in on the action.
Magic, I just don't understand it, so I was just like, okay, is he gonna like chop me in half? Am I gonna lose a lip? Like literally, those are my thoughts. So, and also like, I look good. What was your...
Assistants are always there for magicians, and Meyers says the participation is probably his favorite part in performing.
I don't know, I like anything that the audience is involved in, anything where somebody's really involved in it. So actually, a lot of times my favorite thing isn't even necessarily doing a magic trick, which is really different than a lot of magicians, because a lot of magicians like doing a magic trick more than anything else. I think I like anything where the audience is really involved.
Meyers has tricks of all sorts, including rings, the classic card tricks, and even a floating table. As his encore, Meyers makes it snow. Reporting from the UC Ballrooms, I'm Samantha Fox, Bear News.
Thanks, Samantha. Joel Meyers is currently on tour around the country. UNC held the Metro Junior League State Wrestling Tournament Saturday in Butler Hancock Arena, where more than 25 teams participated. Parents lined up to watch the Pee Wee duke it out around 8 a.m., and many stayed later to watch the older wrestlers. Fans enjoyed refreshments while rooting for their loved ones to bring home some serious hardware. Although some kids ended up a little disappointed, most seemed to have left with a big smile and the determination to be there again next year.
Well, it's time for our weekly Pinterest photo. This week's photo is an inspirational quote from Oprah Winfrey saying, "Surround yourself with only people who are going to lift you higher."
So, Paul, it's been quite a while since we've seen some snow. What do you see in the snow forecast?
Well, Megan, we're looking at a chance of snow Saturday night into Sunday evening, potentially giving us a little bit of snow. I'll let you know how much, though, after the break. Hey, welcome back to Bear News. I'm meteorologist Paul Four. It's a pretty nice day outside today, but not as nice around the country. Right now, we're seeing this little snow system over the Great Lakes right now, which will be bringing a blizzard over to the northeast. And we've got a little bit of a rain shower, a little bit of thunderstorms, no tornado action or anything over the southeast right now. Nothing to worry about, but that front is bringing a little bit of hectic weather down there. Now, if we look at all the watches and warnings around the country, though, we've got some winter storm warnings around the northeast, specifically into New York and Massachusetts. They're looking at anywhere between 18 to 24 inches of snow over this coming weekend. They're naming it Winter Storm Nemo. Now, here in Colorado, though, it's pretty nice outside. Got some clouds over the Rockies, a little bit of action happening to the south, but pretty nice day overall, especially here in Greeley. Temperature-wise, we're seeing 30s into 40s around Colorado. If you head to the south right now, we've got 50s, and if you head even further, we're looking at some 60s into places like Oklahoma and in Texas. Now, here in Colorado, if you're in the Rockies, we're looking at temperatures somewhere in the 30s. If you head a little farther to the west, we're looking at some 40s. Here in Denver, we've got about 46 degrees, and in Fort Collins, about 48 degrees. High for today in Greeley was about 48 degrees, and the low was around 24 degrees, quite a bit above our average. Lows for tonight, we're looking at teens in Greeley, 20s if you head further south, and if you're in Gunnison right now, around -6 degrees. Futurecast into tonight. We're seeing a few snow showers if you're in the Denver area into Colorado Springs, but here in Greeley, we're not looking at any precipitation into the night. It will be clearing as we head later into the night. Forecast for tonight, 40 degrees, quite mild for tonight at around 7 o'clock. Midnight will be cooling down a little bit, around 28 degrees. And for your morning commute, we're looking at sunny skies and 23 degrees. Tomorrow, 54 degrees, mostly sunny, pretty calm winds, so should be a beautiful day if you're hoping for that early spring as the groundhog predicted. What the groundhog did not predict, though, was snow for this weekend. Saturday, we're looking at chance of snow after about 11 o'clock in the morning. We're not looking at too much snow, but anywhere between maybe 1/10 of an inch to 1/4 of an inch of snow into your Saturday, and that will be continuing into Sunday at about 32 degrees. The rest of the forecast for the week, we're looking at 30s for the start of the week. The big story here, though, is our lows for the morning will be into the teens. We're looking at anywhere between 13 to 17 degrees out there, so please bundle up. But we've got some sunny skies as you head into the rest of the week, and we're looking at a chance of snow into Friday, but we'll give you all those details next week here on Bear News. Now we're off to Ben with the sports.
Thank you, Paul. We've got a little volleyball news coming up, plus a basketball update and look at who the newest football Bears may be. All that and more right after this. Welcome back to Bear News. We start off tonight with some breaking news. This from the volleyball team. After an appearance in the NCAA tournament, 2 members of the UNC volleyball team have left the program. Sophomore outside hitter Tamber Haddock and freshman setter Allie Hutchison are no longer with the team. Haddock is now a student at Brigham Young University and is a part of the Cougars team. In an interview with the Mirror, Haddock says she left UNC to be closer to her family but did not intend on playing volleyball originally. The reason for Hutchison's departure is still yet unknown. In a statement, head coach Lindsay Oates says, Allie and Tamber left the team for personal reasons, and we wish them success in their future endeavors. Keep it to Bear News, both on your TV and on Facebook for the latest in this developing story. Looking to exact a bit of revenge for last month's embarrassment in Pocatello, the Bears men's basketball team played host to Idaho State, and let's just say it broke the record books. Tevin Sahovic brought the Bears to a 5-point lead just in the first 2 minutes of the game. From then on, it was all about Paul Garnica. Garnica came into the game and instantly got hot, making 3-pointer after 3-pointer. He hit 6 of them in the game, finishing with 21 points. Also shooting the ball well was Tate Unruh. He had 15 points, all off 3-pointers. And by the way, that marked the 7th time in his career that he made 5 shots from beyond the arc. Tim Huskisson also had 15 points and added a big dunk off an Unruh miss. Huskisson had 3 shots from downtown, adding to the 15 3-pointers overall. The Bears were able to claw their way to a win, 78-63. After the women's basketball team quality win against Sac State, how about a date with Idaho State? Oh yeah, in an arena where they've never beaten Idaho State, ever. That changed this time, finally, as UNC escaped Reed Gym with the 1-point win, 50-49. Deshara Strange had 14 points, Stephanie Lee had 13 and 8 boards off the bench and was aided by Hannah Thornton's 11 points off the bench. Lindsay Mallon added 10 rebounds as UNC built off a 31-25 halftime lead. The win moved the Bears to 7-3 in the conference and very much in the running to host their first Big Sky tournament. So what better way to recover from a hard match against a tough team than with a cakewalk against a team that hasn't won in 14 months. You heard that right. Weber State hasn't won since December 10th of 2012. Laura Nosedyke was a rebound shy of a double-double and added 22 points. Deshara Strange helped with 11 points and 6 rebounds of her own off the bench, and Stephanie Lee added 14 points. The Bears shot 56% from the field compared to the Wildcats' 34%. 2 Wildcat starters were held scoreless, while all the offense came from Callie Matthews, who had 13 points, and Jalen Carpenter, who had 14. The win moved UNC to 8-3 in the Big Sky and solidly in second place behind Montana. Throughout time, there are athletes, coaches, and directors who make a mark lasting further than their careers. The 2013 Hall of Fame class is in the books, and reporter Samantha Fox has the stories and accomplishments this class has to share.
The class of 2013 has officially been inducted. I'm not talking about graduation, I'm talking about the Athletic Hall of Fame. This year includes 7 individuals and 1 basketball team back from the 1960s. Among the individual inductees is former UNC head coach Kate Dalton. Dalton served as Bears head coach from 2000 until 2004.
I will do all I can as your assistant to help you do whatever it takes to get you where you can, if you feel like you can get a better job somewhere, I'll help you the best I can. But I will not, under any circumstance, leave UNC.
These are the words that Kay Dalton told his former boss, Joe Glenn, former UNC Bears coach, that he would not be joining with them. Dalton said the reason for joining was he had fallen in love with UNC and the Greeley community. Dalton was known as a very tough coach. However, this coach made a lot of impact on his previous players. One player in particular, former UNC quarterback Corte McGuffey, collected a binder full of letters from previous players. During the ceremony, McGuffey read one in particular from former safety Tony Lee.
You made it hard, but you did it with love, and you made sure that we leave the program as men.
Another former Bear who made quite an impact since her time leaving UNC is UNC alum Ruth Nelson.
As a player, a coach, an innovator, and a mentor to many athletes at all levels.
Nelson earned 4 varsity letters in tennis and volleyball during her time as a Bear, and after graduation, she coached volleyball at 4 different universities during a span of 20 years.
Reporting from the UC Ballrooms, I'm Samantha Fox, Bear News.
The Hall of Fame has been around since 1994. 8 members represent the very first class, including Elsie Butler and John Hancock. Well, the NFL season is officially in the books, but the job of GMs and scouts looking for new talent never is. Reporter Raymond Tonier tells us about UNC Bear pro hopefuls who are chasing the NFL dream.
Promising season in which our UNC football Bears finished 5-6 after a 9-11 record the previous year. It is now time for some of the major architects of this turnaround to prepare for a brand new challenge, professional football. In the upcoming months leading to pro days and combines, a select group of graduating seniors led by All-American kick returner Dominic Gunn and 2012 defensive MVP Hervé Tonier are chasing the NFL dream and clawing their way towards joining the likes of Vincent Jackson and Reed Dowdy as Bear ambassadors in the National Football League. Tonier's agent, Lawrence McGivney, got him an invitation to the Baltimore Ravens Regional Combine in late March. He will also join his UNC teammates Dominic Gunn at the Colorado University Pro Day. They tell us about their expectations and their preparation.
I feel like I'm going to have pretty good numbers at the Pro Day. Dink's been working us hard. He's getting us ready. He knows what he's doing, so I'm definitely expecting big things out of myself and out of the guys working with me.
Every day I wake up in the morning, I come work out here with our strength and conditioning coach in the morning. And 3 times a week I also drive to a training facility down in Broomfield, Colorado. So pretty much every day of the week I'm doing something physically.
Tim Naiman, performance coach and nutrition counselor at Impact Sports Performance in Broomfield, Colorado, talks about his Canadian linebacker.
Each component adds up to the complete pie, and that's kind of what they've been doing going into it, especially Hervé. You know, his approach on a day-to-day basis is one that he's going to be the best. You know, he's gonna every single day he's going to give us 100% effort, and he's going to outwork anyone that's out in the nation getting ready for the same combine.
Reporting from Broomfield, Colorado, I'm Raymond Tonier for Bear News.
Well, football doesn't build character, but eliminates the weak ones. You bet it does. Have you seen those workouts? As one class gets ready to graduate, another will take its place. It's a law of nature. That also rings true for the football team, as head coach Ernest Collins Jr. gets ready to put the finishing touches on his 2013 recruiting class. Bear News reporter Samantha Fox is back with the story.
Signing day 2013 is officially in the books. I'm here at the press conference where Coach Ernest Collins Jr. is revealing his new recruit school year.
Life. Watch Bear Zone on Tuesday nights on Channel 98 for the latest on the impact of the freshman class. Well, like most of America did on Sunday, you probably watched this year's Super Bowl between the Ravens and the 49ers. The first half belonged to the Baltimore Ravens as they outscored the 49ers 21-6. Beyonce performed during the halftime show and did not disappoint. The second half started off with a bang. Jacoby Jones scored on a record-breaking 108-yard kickoff return. The Baltimore Ravens were playing lights out. Oh, and speaking of lights out, there was a 30-minute game delay due to a power outage in the stadium. More on that later. Somehow that sparked the Niners to go on a 17-0 run, but with a late fourth quarter stop, the Ravens crushed the Niners' Super Bowl dreams as they went on to win 34-31 in the Harbaugh Bowl. Joe Flacco was the game's MVP. He completed 22 of his 33 passes for 278 yards and 3 touchdowns. Well, according to Nielsen, 100 million people watched Super Bowl 47 last Sunday night. Hopefully, they all stuck around for the third quarter because, as we mentioned earlier, it wasn't the electricity on the field that caught everyone's attention. That's right, it was the lack of electricity off the field. About halfway through the third quarter, half the overhead lights in the Mercedes-Benz Superdome in New Orleans just shut off. The NFL suspended the game for half an hour, and the Ravens offense didn't see the field for almost 90 minutes. There was speculation that Beyonce's halftime show sucked all the juice out of the stadium, but officials say that's not what happened. Good thing it wasn't sponsored by XL. Did you guys see that?
I did.
How crazy was that? How crazy was that?
Yeah, not so good for.
I think so.
But yeah. After the break, we'll show you a great way to start the day.
Stick around. We'll be right back in 60 seconds.
We're putting on a show. We need $8 for a ticket. Monster Sunday, it's gonna be a fun day. This is big and awesome. Walk into the gym like, what up, brother Hancock? I'm just pumped up for the concert at 7 o'clock. Tickets on sale, they going like a monster. The people like, dang, what a concert. Rolling into UNC, got my ticket here with me, dressing all up, cause I might be on MTV. Tickets are on the link, sign up for a meet and greet. Probably should've got one, pick of Macklemore and me. Flash!
We've learned how to make lunches and dinners, but what about the most important meal of the day, breakfast? Let's see what Megan Pressler and Shan Yang are cooking for the early hours of the day.
Today we have a breakfast entree for you. It's called a potato bacon casserole. These are the ingredients you will need. You will need 8 ounces of bacon, a ½ cup of diced onions, a can of Carnation evaporated milk, a large egg, 4 cups of frozen hash browns, a cup of shredded cheese, and a little bit of salt. The first thing we need to do to cook our casserole is set our oven to 350. We also need to spray our pan, but I've already done that, so I'm going to start layering our casserole. We put 2 cups of frozen hash browns, half the onions, half the bacon, and half the cheese. Now we will repeat this process. For our second step of our casserole, we'll combine an egg, our carnation milk, and a little bit of salt and pepper. We will stir these up and evenly pour them onto our casserole. Our casserole is ready for the oven. Since we have preheated our oven to 350, we set the timer for 1 hour. We will soon have a breakfast casserole. Looks like our casserole is done. We'll pull it out of the oven. Save this recipe and you will have a breakfast sensation.
That looks so good, Megan. What happened to the lighting there at the end?
I think Beyonce sucked all the juice out of your kitchen.
Yes, or I forgot to turn the oven on.
Oh,
whichever one.
That might hurt a little.
But thanks for joining us this evening on Bear News.
We'll see you next week. Good night.
That was good.